I've never been a fan of Bond films. No matter which era you cite, whether it's the old and incredibly dated Connery days or the laughable and clownish days of Brosnan, there isn't a single Bond movie I can think of that rises above the bar of mediocrity and superficial entertainment. The simple truth is that Bond films have always been a fantastic idea with poor execution, desperate for anyone to drag them out of the sloppy and overly Hollywood gutter it had become used to residing in and push it into the realistic and artistic setting where, good movies are made. I'm just gonna come out and say it. Casino Royale is the best Bond film. Period. As far as I'm concerned, the 10 or 20 or who cares how many never happened. This movie is unique and stands on its own without the need of a library of failures to keep its ticket sales up. Take the name Bond out of the protagonist and the movie is still fantastic. The role of 007 belongs to the incredibly top-heavy Daniel Craig and does the best job of making you care about the character. Oh yeah, I said best. Sure, he's brutish and cold, but there's something about him that just keeps you engaged. I wonder if other actors could have done better with this superior script, director, and technology. Ask any Bond fan who the best Bond is, and they always interrupt you by saying, Connery, Sean Connery, I love Sean Connery, I love The Rock, always Sean Connery. Let me take this opportunity to gleefully correct them. Craig is the best. And really, it isn't even fair to compare him to the rest of those flunkies. He brings a level of depth and realism to the character that goes way beyond anything that was simply written, and engages the viewer in a way that Connery and all those other clowns never did. He owns the role of 007 so well, I can't imagine anyone else in that role any more than I could imagine the Joker played by anyone other than Heath Ledger. Solid acting is a foundation in this movie that rings true with virtually every character. Judi Dench is flawless as M and blessed to have some of the best writing in the movie. Equally good, though less energetic, is Le Chiffre, played by Mr. Mickelson, who sports a dull menacing stare so much I thought I was looking at an adult version of Damien from The Omen. Oh, and if you're wondering why I'm showing an image of the remake rather than the so-called classic, it's because the newer one, just like Casino Royale, takes a great idea that was underutilized and turns it into something better. Finally, there's Vespa, played by Eva Green. When I think about how much was riding on the fact that she essentially had to play a double character in virtually every scene, I really can't be more complimentary when I say that she was perfect. She has a subtlety to her that is a joy to watch, and her confidence, which she puts up regularly to compete with Bond's ego, is paper thin. It's an underrated performance, and I would challenge anyone who would say otherwise. And as for the plot, well, it revolves around a post-9/11 world where terrorists are highly organized, high-stake poker games are settled with impossibly rare hands, and the bodyworks is still popular. Jesus, it's a bunch of dead people with no skin in strange poses. It's not art, it's not science, it isn't anything, least of all entertaining. Alright, I'm sorry, I'm pretty off topic with that, but the movie is basically Bond's origin. There's some stuff about global terrorism and a $100 million poker game, but really who cares about that? The guts of this movie is about the creation of the James Bond we all know. It cleverly explains where all the things we know about the character come from. His drink, his car, his tux, how he introduces himself, and most interesting of all, his relationship with women. If you're even remotely connected to mainstream culture, you know that James Bond is a womanizing, sexually compulsive deviant whose name should probably be synonymous with STD as much as it is spy. In this movie, however, Bond isn't the walking erection we've come to expect. No, he's actually able to fall in love. And he does. Hard. And the thing is, it's believable. I've heard complaints that after the movie concludes with the ordeal with Le Chiffre, that people were annoyed that it focuses on Bond's love infatuation and essentially becomes another movie. And they're right. It does. But it's on purpose. It really sells the idea of love in a character whom everyone would be skeptical. It requires all that time to really sell that point and drive it home. Imagine if he had simply said, I love you, and that was all. Would Vespa's betrayal mean as much? Would it really wound him so deep that it would turn his heart to stone for good? No, it wouldn't have been, if at all, effective. The fact that Bond is revealed to be a traumatic survivor of a love story gone terribly wrong is a truly fascinating take on the character, one that trumps all the violence and turns the movie into a complex love story rather than a mindless action film like its juvenile predecessors. On the surface, Casino Royale presents itself as just another, albeit updated, Bond movie with gritty realism, clever jokes, and action scenes that would make Michael Bay excited. But underneath all the splash there to draw in the dumb masses, there's a lot more for those willing to put in the effort. For those smart enough to view the movie more than once, there's a treasure trove of subtlety in both writing and acting that gets better with every viewing. If you've seen it once, you're missing out, and I would challenge you to see it again. It is absolutely in contention with the likes of Batman Begins and The Bourne Identity for the best origin of a single character ever, and honestly, I can't think of a single reason why it shouldn't be number one. If you were like me and rightly hated all the Bond movies but are intrigued by its upcoming sequel, you should probably see this first, because just as Casino Royale broke tradition with this film being an origin, the next film also breaks from true tradition by being the first true Bond sequel, and you'll probably need to see it to understand what the hell is going on. I just hope it keeps breaking from the other Bond norm of being a festering pile of English rubbish instead of an epic setup for what better be the best case of heartbreak turns revenge ever.